The holidays are upon us. It is time to be having big feasts. Maybe you're going to your family. Maybe you've got big Friendsgivings that are coming up and you're going to be having all kinds of food coming at you. How do you survive? Hi there, this is Tara with Be Well Healthy Living, a channel dedicated to all things health and wellness so you are living your best life. Wow, so okay, here we are at the end of a year already. And we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and we've got Christmas and the whole Christmas season full of cookies and sweets and snacks and all kinds of crazy stuff. How do we survive? Well, there's a couple different things that we need to talk about. We got to talk about first, how do we survive all of the crazy family dynamics? And then how do we survive all the dietary things? How do we not blow it if we're on a weight loss journey? How do we stay focused on what we're doing and everything? So I'm going to be talking about two different parts in this video: family, food. Family and food. Okay. The first thing, family. All right. So some of you are blessed and lucky enough to have beautiful families that all get along and love each other so much. I'd probably say you're probably going to be the the exception, not the norm. I think most all of us have families that there's some different personality dynamics, some different things going on. So how do you survive it? Maybe you're going to be going to a relative's house that they voted differently, and we just had their election, so people are very heated even still about who they voted for. So maybe you can't handle going to that person's house and you know that they voted opposite of you. How do you do that? So all of those things I wanted to be talking about. The first thing is that going into the political stuff, I know that there's people out there that have said, we need to cut off family members that have voted a different way. And I wanted to say that is complete nonsense. We do not want to cut off family members who voted a certain way. That is silly. That's ridiculous. It's petty and it needs to stop. If that conversation comes up, if politics comes up at the Thanksgiving dinner table, this is how you can avoid a heated conflict. Sincerely ask why. Want to know why they voted a certain way, why they believe those things. Now, you may actually think, oh, if they voted a certain way, that means they don't like this group of people or this or whatever. And the truth is, they will probably share with you that that's not the case. They will tell you that they voted a certain way to support different beliefs or different ideas. And it is amazing what can happen when you have these conversations without judgment and without name calling. Now, again, that I shouldn't have to be said. Please refrain from calling people names. Don't say things, don't call things, don't be angry, don't have an angry feeling about you. Just have a sincere and honest conversation. Now, if you feel like maybe they are the ones that are getting worked up by you, they will reflect what you are reflecting back to them, and like a mirror. So if you are getting worked up and if they're already worked up and you are worked up, that's a recipe for disaster. But if they're worked up and all they're getting back is a reflection from you, and you're going to be calm, you're going to be nice, you're going to want to know things, you're going to want to have conversation, it's amazing how you can deflect that heated argument by just having control over your emotions, control over your thoughts. So remember, you don't have to get into these crazy conversations, but inevitably in some households, I'm sure it will. So if you have that coming up, remember, have a soft answer. Gentle answer turns away wrath. So if you have nice, if you're not judgment, you can do a world of good to keep peace at your dinner table. Maybe you have crazy families, let's say like Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase, one of the best all-time holiday movies. If you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, you got to see it. But anyway, it is a classic tradition, and it just shows you how crazy family dynamics could be. And actually, it can kind of be therapy to watch it, because if you do have one of those crazy families where you got a cousin Eddie or somewhere crazy, some very crazy dynamic personalities, it might behoove you to watch the movie just to realize that you've got a whole comedy skit going on in your own kitchen or in your own dinner table. So have fun with it, because in the future, when you do not have these moments, you're going to look back and you're going to miss how crazy and how silly it was, and these are going to be stories that you can tell in the future. So even though you might have some crazy family dynamics, just realize that it's going to be a fun story one day. It's going to be a memory one day, and this is not going to be permanent. It's not going to be here forever. So enjoy the moment that you have. See the humor for what it is. Going into it with a sense of humor is probably one of the best things that you can do for your emotional well-being. And having that really good sense of humor, you'll be able to see so many silly things, so many crazy things, and yeah. So having a sense of humor is golden. Another thing that you can do is to help out. I mean, whoever's making the dinner might be actually kind of stressed, trying to get everything done. Maybe they take pride in it and they don't want anybody else in the kitchen because they're like, I want to do everything the way I want to do it. And that's okay. So you can let them have their space. But maybe and kind of sense and see, okay, maybe is whoever's cooking the dinner getting a little bit stressed because maybe something didn't come out right or whatever. Maybe you can help out during the cooking process, but one thing you can certainly help out is during the cleaning process. So it's very, very helpful that, if you jump in to help, it just alleviates that volunteering to give your work time and energy, gets it done faster, and it will make everybody happy. So help out where you can, or maybe even volunteer to bring some certain dishes if you'd like. Maybe you have dessert and you're like, you know what, don't worry about it, I got dessert this year, and bring dessert. That could be very helpful for the person who's hosting your holiday dinner. Another thing that you can do is, if you're traveling to family members, is allow for space. Now remember, these are people that you don't normally get to spend a lot of time with. So maybe you will initially, you've missed each other because you haven't seen each other in a long time, but sometimes you're like, it's a long time that we're spending time with each other. So maybe allow space. Go visit some sites in the area, go for walks around the neighborhood, go do other things, and allow that space. If you're going to be staying somewhere and staying in somebody's house for a long period of time, allow breathing space for the relationship, so that way you're not always around. Or maybe you're just lucky enough to have that family where you just get along magically and beautifully no matter what. Amazing. But sometimes it's good to have a little bit of a breather in the relationship space. So take advantage of the fact that you can go do things. Now, of course, you can ask your family, hey, I was going to go do this. Would you mind? What do you think? Is it a good idea? Or do you even want to come with? Get out of the house. So those are some good ideas there that you might want to think about, just how it is when you're around family members that you haven't normally spent time with. Another thing that you could do is to compliment. So you can be observant, walk in and go, wow, I really like what you've done with this. Or, I love the Christmas tree this year. It looks so pretty in that corner. I love what you've done. It looks especially beautiful and bright this year. Or finding out something about the food. This is really good. This is really unique. This is different. What did you put in here? I love this. I might have to try this recipe at home, or different things. So if you're full of compliments and you're very friendly and complimentary towards other people, it'll bring the tone down, so people will feel more warm, more relaxed when there's less of an edge. Because if you nitpick, oh, what is this, I'm not quite sure I like it, or you're so hung up on what the ingredients are in the food or whatever it is, it can cause stress that doesn't necessarily need to be there. So look for compliments where you can compliment, because again, it's another way. When you have that attitude of softness, you are going to make people feel more relaxed, more comfortable, and just overall have a great time. All right, so now let's talk about the food aspect of it. Maybe you've been on a weight loss journey and you are going and you're going to be pigging out. You know what? instead of putting unnecessary stress on family to provide certain types of foods that, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, I can't eat that, instead of making them bend around your diet, maybe if there's something that you can't eat, you can volunteer to bring it. For example, maybe you're on a gluten-free diet and you're gluten intolerant or gluten sensitive, or you just are avoiding gluten for whatever reason. And instead of requiring that everybody else have gluten-free stuffing, you can say, you know what, I'll bring the gluten-free stuffing because I'm not doing gluten this year. Great, then that takes it off for everybody else. Then you can bring your food. Another thing is that it's a really fun opportunity to share your foods with other people. So maybe people are curious. They're like, oh, this is what gluten-free stuffing tastes like. And you can kind of share it with other people. Oh, this is what sugar-free mousse tastes like. And then other people can try it. So it's a great way to contribute to the overall, put less stress on the host, but also be in control of your own necessary and dietary needs if you can't eat what is provided by the host that is traditional food and you need to have specialty food. That's a great way to do it. I know a lot of times diet gurus and people are going to tell you that, oh, this is how you can cut back calories and do this and whatever. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Have a good time. Enjoy it. Eat. It's okay. You're having a wonderful time. You're going to be celebrating with friends or family, or friends and family both. And the last thing you want to do is be stressed about what you're going to be eating. I can tell you to do some certain things beforehand that might make it a little bit easier for you. But when it comes to just allowing yourself to eat, I'm going to say just eat and enjoy yourself, because the mental stress of trying to diet on one of our country's biggest gluttonous days just seems silly and counterproductive. So what you can do beforehand is try to control your eating before your main dinner. So for breakfast, and this is what I recommend all the time, is that you basically only have a protein and fat. So don't have anything that's going to be high carbohydrates earlier in the day. Save those carb-rich things for later in the day when you have your big meal, because I guarantee you're gonna feel sleepy and tired after you have that big meal. There's the whole turkey and the tryptophan and all that stuff. Well, carbs can start that tryptophan process and make you actually sleepy. So that's why I say avoid your carbohydrates earlier in the day and just stay focused on keeping your blood sugar stable through the first part of the day. That way, and try and eat don't go crazy in the beginning part of the day. Don't have a massive breakfast and then a massive dinner. You might want to just have your coffee for breakfast and then have a small protein snack in the middle of the day. Don't have any carbohydrates with it, and then I'm sure the chips and the dip and all the fun stuff will come out a little bit later. Then you can decide, at this point in time, that's when I want to start eating all my carbohydrates, and save that for the end of the day. So that way you're doing your carb load only at one point in the day rather than from the time you wake up, because you do not want carbs in the beginning of the day. Just kind of keep the carbs all contained to that Thanksgiving meal and dinner. So another thing that you can do is, after you're done helping out with the dishes, so after you've eaten, put everything, in the kitchen, you can kind of help to clean up in the kitchen. And then as a family unit or even by yourself, take a walk. Walking after you eat is one of the best things that you can do to slow down the the insulin release in your body. So it is actually super good to exercise after you walk. And this is something that even I incorporate every single day, most every single day, I should say, into my daily routine. Is I like to eat dinner, clean up, and then go for a walk, because it's healthier. It slows down that absorption, keeps the insulin spikes lower, and it's overall healthier for you. So taking a walk after you eat that massive meal is one of the best things that you can do. Now, even though it's Thanksgiving week coming up, you don't want to splurge every single day. You don't want to just say, screw it, I'm just gonna eat every day or whatever because this is the season. No, you want to maintain some good habits the rest of the time, because the truth is, if you are maintaining good habits 98% of the time and you have a splurge it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to throw you back. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be a big deal. In fact, it's probably a little bit good for your body to go through that shock and then back down, because it'll be a little bit more metabolically flexible. But it's actually, you really, where the magic is maintaining those habits for the time before, maintaining those habits most of the time. So that way, when you do have that occasional splurge, it's okay. It's not a big deal. And that's the trick with life. You really want to learn how to manage the ups and downs, the special occasions, because there's always going to be birthdays or whatever. There's always going to be something, and you are going to be in situations where you're going to go out to eat, or you're going to have big meals with family or something. So what you want to learn how to do is to be able to navigate those in everyday life. Because to say you're never going to have a carbohydrate again or never eat sugar again is just plain unrealistic. If you have willpower of steel, so be it, then that's fine. But the vast majority of people do not have that type of willpower. So to say that you're never going to splurge, you're never going to have that again, is totally unrealistic. So my way of going around it, my way of navigating, is to say maintain your good healthy habits the majority of the time, so that way when you do splurge, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to set you back. I know this is probably not the diet advice that you get from a health and wellness video, is to just go ahead and just have a good time and splurge. But remember, I'm about all aspects of health, and I look into the emotional part, the social part, the mental part. There's a lot of components, the 8 elements of health, and how it works for your overall health. Now, if you're stressing about not being able to eat certain things or feeling deprived, that is not what you want. So you do not want to be in a place where you say, "No, what? I can't have that." Even though deep down inside, you know you want it. Like, "Oh, I'm going to stay away from the stuffing. Oh, I'm going to stay away from the pie." But in reality, you do want it. That is deprivation. And that, if you feel deprived, you are not going to sustain those habits. You're not going to be able to keep that willpower for the rest of your life. It's just pretty much impossible. So you're better off learning how to navigate these special circumstances and special occasions, rather than trying to say, "No, I'm not going to do it," and feel deprived. Because I think you would regret it if you felt deprived, you didn't enjoy yourself. It's going to cause you more emotional stress than if you would just indulge and get a good night's sleep afterwards. Okay, so to recap, when you're dealing with your family, the family dynamics, always deal in love. Always be patient. Always be kind. Always have a willingness to talk through people with kindness, patience, and curiosity. That is the best way around any type of family dynamic. And also maintain a sense of humor, because everything is fun, and just have fun and laugh and have a good time in that sense. Now, with the food, again, I'm going to tell you, don't stress it, enjoy it. But there's a caveat to that. You really want to make sure that you have developed those good habits. If you are keeping those good habits the rest of the time, I say go ahead and splurge. Now, just because you're splurging this one day doesn't mean you need to splurge every single day after and into the next season and whatever, because then that would really set you back. And then plus, you're probably going to realize that you feel like garbage. So allow yourself to splurge. Remember to go on a walk after you are done eating your meal. After you clean up, go on a walk around the block. 10 minutes minimum will be what you need. Do not eat carbohydrates. Do not have any big meal at the beginning of the day. Eat very light, focusing mostly on proteins and fats. Keep your blood sugar down through the middle of the day. Spend most of your carbohydrate allotment in the evening. That way you're going to go into the evening, you're going to enjoy yourself, have a good time. You walk, and then when you come back in, you can plop and relax, watch TV, watch a movie together, talk, play games, whatever it is that you do for your family or friend tradition. But those are all some ideas to help navigate the dietary portion of Thanksgiving and the holidays and Christmas. So thank you so much for watching. If I have provided valuable content, I would appreciate if you like and subscribe. That means the world to me. Also comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much. Peace, blessings, and good health. Bye-bye.